What happens when rising stars and legends clash and devotion becomes treachery? Floyd "Money" Mayweather, the unbeaten legend who revolutionized boxing, is up against one of his most exposing tests, but it comes from a person he once thought of as family rather than a competitor in the ring. Tank Gervonta Davis, the talented Mayweather, has transitioned from protege to competitor, and this time it's music. In the midst of the confusion, personal Ford, Calvin, this isn't just about pride, it's a fight for power. Tank's former coach, who helped to shape his career, is now working with Floyd under Mayweather Promotions. A public altercation between Floyd and Tank escalated into a heated argument that broke out into a full-on brawl, shocking the boxing world. Control and legacy. This story is full of dramatic turns and startling surprises, so fasten your seatbelt. Depending on who you ask, it all began with a business decision or treachery. Calvin Ford, the coach who stood by Gervonta Davis through thick and thin, recently made headlines for joining Mayweather Promotions. While the move seemed strategic for Calvin, it felt like a knife to the back. For Tino Calvin, "He been with me since I was 7, I used to sleep in Coach Calvin house. I used to sleep at his job when he was working at a seafood restaurant in Baltimore, when I had the train Tank, when I didn't want to get in trouble, and I wanted to make sure we was together. I used to take him to work with me, and everybody know at work, remember. Calvin used to fuss at the guys that was coming up with me, and they was in the streets a lot. He was telling them, like, you can't have 1 feet in and 1 feet out. You got to be, like, all the way in it, like, focus on the goal, And them guys, they went left, and unfortunately, they got killed. You weigh the odds out like, do you want him to go to jail, or you want him to live? That's the whole idea, to come to the boxing GY. I ain't had the people I had around me like the people that started with me, and things like that. I probably would have been off the same for a long time. Why? Because Calvin isn't just any coach. He's the man who helped turn Tank into a knockout artist. From the gritty gyms of Baltimore to sold-out arenas, Calvin and Tank were an unbreakable duo, but now Ford's allegiance with Floyd has created a ripple effect no one could have anticipated. Who do you want to see you as a guy that, in his trainer, that's like a father figure to him? You're training him all the time. You know him, both y'all, from the streets of Baltimore. The whole bit, who do you want to see Tank fight next? I want him to get all of them that ran their mouth. Tank has always been vocal about his rocky relationship with Floyd, accusing him of being controlling and dismissive of his growth, adding Calvin to Floyd's camp. Felt like the ultimate betrayal, and Tank wasn't going to stay quiet about it. Calvin, he been with me since I was 7. I used to sleep in Coach Calvin house. I used to sleep at his job when he was working at a seafood restaurant in Baltimore. When I had the train Tank, or I didn't want to get in trouble, and I want to make sure we was together. I used to take him to work with me and hit you all. Everybody know him at work. Remember, Calvin used to fuss at the guys that was coming up with me, and they was in the streets a lot. He was telling them, like, you can't have 1 feet in and 1 feet out. You got to be, like, all the way in, like, focus on the go, and them guys, they went left. And, unfortunately, they got killed. You weigh the odds out. Like, do you want them to go to jail, or you want them to live? That's the whole idea, to come to the boxing GY. If I had the people I had around me, like the people that started with me, and things like that, I probably would have been off the scene for a long time. The confrontation between Floyd and Tank started at a public charity event in Las Vegas. What was supposed to be a peaceful gathering quickly turned into a music spectacle. Tank criticized Floyd for adding Calvin Ford to his team and confronted him in front of cameras. Floyd, who never wanted to back down, reportedly yelled back, "You took the one person who had my back, and you can't stand to see me win without you. Don't forget who gave you this platform. I made you Tank. You think Calvin will help you defeat me? Keep dreaming." As the dispute got more heated, the crowd became agitated. Witnesses described the exchange as explosive, with both men shouting over each other. Tank accused Floyd of sabotaging his career out of jealousy, while Floyd claimed Tank was ungrateful for everything he'd done for him. No surprises there. Floyd has always been vocal about how Tank is so ungrateful. "Well, my thing is I've always been there for him from day one. We had a game plan. and my game plan was to help him become world champion and take things to that next level. And I've always been there for him, and just over the years, you can see I've always been positive, always said great things about him, always pushed him to be great and but over the years is constantly going on the internet, take a shot at Floyd, take a shot at Floyd, take a shot at Floyd, constantly be disrespectful, constantly be disrespectful, when all I ever been was respectful to try to help this fighter go as far as he could possibly go. That's all I ever did. Now, it didn't take long for this verbal exchange to turn into a fist fight. Things took a dramatic turn when Tank pushed Floyd and all hell broke loose. Members of both camps jumped in to separate the two, but it wasn't long before punches started flying. Tank swinging at one of Floyd's teammates while Floyd was restrained by security is seen on film from the event. Tank was enraged at Calvin Ford, who was at the event, and attempted to defuse the tension. "You're a sellout, Tank," yelled at his former coach. The altercation lasted for several tumultuous minutes before security broke it up. No one was seriously hurt, but their reputations and their already strained relationships suffered. They were waiting to sit down and speak with him one-on-one, telling him that I simply mentally prepared him for whatever he wanted to do. After the fight, Tank took to Instagram Live to address the situation and speak directly to his fans. He didn't hold back, saying that Floyd has always been about control and that he can't stand it when I'm doing my own thing. Tank also hinted that the drama has overshadowed his upcoming fight with Lamont Roach. "I should be concentrating on my next fight, but instead I'm dealing with this mess, and they're trying to break me, but I'm capable of handling this." Floyd, a methodical businessman who controls every aspect of his empire, Tank, represents the old guard. On the other hand, Floyd is a member of a new generation of fighters who value independence and authenticity. Floyd said something that made you feel like he was subsubbing you, like, "Oh, like he was going at me, he was going at me. I knew for sure that he was going at me. That's why I went at him. But there's no reason for me to go at Floyd." Yes, that's what I was considering, because I feel like I would say, love-hate. But it's been like the last interview you showed them love this week, so whatever. But is it sometimes like, is it just like big bro, little bro, seeing things differently? Or what is it to he just Floyd, he feel like I'm at that point where, as though I pass him, I'm doing it at a young age. Wait, like when Floyd was a 29, you'll see, bro. That contract I'm referring to, yes, he isn't aware of it yet, but it's greater than his agreement, darn well, and I'm just publishing an exclusive that's bigger than Floyd's deal, so make sure not to cap __ as the dust settles. One question remains. What does this mean for Tank's career with Calvin Ford now in Floyd's corner? Tank faces a unique challenge, not only because he will be facing Lamont Roach in his next fight, but also because he is fighting the myth that he cannot succeed without his former team. Yes, let's take a moment to discuss this battle. Lamont Rock is serious. Gervonta, a lot is at stake here. With an absurdly high number of stoppages and an unblemished record, Davis is the king of knockouts. Not only does he knock people out, but every time he enters the ring, Tank, Ryan Garcia makes a statement. Most recently, we all remember that vicious body shot that crushed him like a lawn chair. What I like about Tank Davis is that it offers something unique. Back in the day, everyone had something. Muhammad Ali was a boxer who was a mover. George used to punch people. Everyone brought something to the table, and Larry Holmes took a swipe at Ernest, who was a puncher. Mike, you understand what I mean when I say that everyone has something. That division is currently full and Tank happy. The knockout guy is the main knockout power in the division, and Garcia has it too, but Tank has that real knockout power that if he hits someone clean, they usually have a problem. So I think that occasionally when Tank knows he can beat someone, he probably doesn't take it as hard. But when they present challenges, I think he locks in because, yes, he fights to the level of his competition. He was doing that a lot, and you have to be careful that 2 fights ago he was truly doing that.